Recording. All right.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We'll get started in just a few minutes. We have some people asking for the Zoom link, so we'll share that and we'll get people sorted. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming. Just wait another minute or two. Some people are still connecting, and then we will get started with our presentation. I know it's getting late and kind of colder earlier these days in Bhutan. So thank you. I don't know if it's much warmer in Canada, Patricia.
I'll be talking about the weather too.
Yeah. I've been to Bhutan in February. It is no joke.
And we don't have the best heating systems.
How cold does it get in Bhutan?
It does go up to minus in peak winter, but right now I think it's around 10, 11, 12 degrees because it's raining for past 24 hours now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And when you say minus, like what is like the negative?
I don't think so. It goes as bad as Canada, but I think it does go up to 5, 7, 10 maximum, I think, -10. Yeah.
Yeah, that's warm.
Hey, thank you guys so much for joining. Let's get started. We have, of course, Srijana will be letting students in through the waiting room. I'm so happy to see you guys all streaming in. I'm so excited for this event today. I cannot be more pleased to be speaking with Patricia Diaz del Castillo from Mcgill. She's a recruitment officer. I'm so grateful for her time this morning. Well, this morning for her and your time this evening, students and families in Bhutan. Today, we are going to have the great opportunity to learn about university systems in Canada, but more specifically, the opportunities at Mcgill, which is an incredible institution. And with that, I will turn it over to Patricia in a second. Just a few quick reminders about the event today. We're recording this session and we'll share it to our Global Shapers hub that we use, along with any resources, maybe questions that come up that need to be answered through resource or link sharing. I know Patricia has some plans for that this morning as well. And if you have questions, please share them in the chat and we will leave plenty of time at the end for questions and answers. With that, I will turn it over to you, Patricia. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here today. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Hopefully it'll be live someday, but for now, this is what we have so far. But again, it's wonderful to be able to talk to all of you, and thank you all for attending my session today. It is actually 9 a.m. here on this side of the world. So again, thank you very much for your interest in our university. And now you know who I am. And now I'd like to know a little bit about you guys. So just very quickly, in the chat box, could you please write down what you're interested in? What is your academic interest? Are you interested in psychology, in management, in engineering, whatever that may be? Again, an interest. If you don't know what you want to study, that's also okay. Just let me know what you have in mind, so that way I can kind of like cater the presentation to you and let you know a little bit more about certain topics. So if you could just write down a word or two of what you're interested. Very good. Okay, fantastic. Computer science, neuroscience. Okay, that's wonderful. Anyone else? I'd like to know just a quick few words just to get to know what your interests are. Fantastic. Computer science, fantastic. Oh, and this reminds me of something. If you want to PM me directly, you're absolutely free to do so. I just want to make sure that we are corresponding in any way. Fantastic. Engineering. Okay. Okay, fantastic. So I get a little bit of a sense of entrepreneurship. Okay, very good. Undecided, totally okay. That's totally okay too. Okay, perfect. So this gives me a little bit of an idea of who my audience is. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have put together a presentation where I'll be going to be talking about the Mcgill experience. I will also be talking about the application process, and then I will be wrapping up with our admissions review. And of course, as Melissa said, we will then carry on with our second part, which has to do with our Q&A. So before I start, I'd like to let you know a little bit about where our campus is located. So Mcgill has been around for 200 years. And I would like to acknowledge that prior to these 200 years, our First Nations actually occupied the land where our campus is located. And this has contributed to our history as Mcgill University and the history, of course, of Quebec and Canada. So let's go ahead and take a little bit of a look of Canada itself. So Canada is located north of the United States. We are the second largest country in the world in terms of land mass. But it's interesting because we only have about 37 million people living here. And we have about 97 universities in our country. And if you can see here, I've written down, I am here. So you know exactly where I am in Canada. So I'm only 500 kilometers away from Boston. And I'm only 615 kilometers north of New York City. So this would give you a little bit of an idea of where Canada is in the map, and of course, where our university is located. So our university was established 200 years ago. We are located in a city called Tiohtià:ke, also known as Montreal. We are located in a Francophone province. As you all know, Canada is a bilingual country, so we speak French and English here, but our province is Francophone. But this doesn't mean that you need to speak French in order to come here. You actually don't at all. But I would recommend that if you decide to come to Quebec, that you take advantage of being able to learn a little bit of French and to get to know more about our culture. So as you can imagine, we are a research intensive university, and this means that you will be able to engage in a lot of research opportunities. And just to give you an idea of how large our university is, we have around 40,000 students, and out of the 40,000 students, we have around roughly 27,000 undergraduate students. Okay, so it's a big university, but not so big compared to other northern universities here in North America. So I've added a slide here that speaks about our university and some stats that really speak to the quality of our education. And this could totally be you here waiting for graduation. And this is on the right side, you will see our chancellor, Madame Fortier. And hopefully it'll be you that she is addressing in this picture. One of the things that I particularly like about our university here is that we do have a large international community. So we have about 30% of our student population actually comes from different parts of the world, even students from Bhutan. And the likelihood of you seeing other people from Bhutan is higher, of course, but also you'll be able to meet people from countries that you have probably never even thought about. So again, this is a great opportunity to meet people from different walks of life. Another aspect that I like about actually our city is that Montreal is a very safe city. I walk everywhere. I have no problems at all. It also is a city that is affordable. compared to other universities in North America. So that's also very important to keep in mind. And it is also one that has a lot of students. So we have over 250,000 students in our island. So this makes it a very, very student-friendly city. Now, summers. So we have very hot summers here, and they are really exciting, and we max out the weather. So we have all sorts of different types of events, cultural events, concerts, festivals. I still, to this day, challenge anyone, any student, if they could actually keep up with all of what our city has to offer. I have not been able to. Every year, I try to make sure that I attend every single event, but it is impossible. So I'm hoping that if you come to McGill, that you can totally prove me wrong. Because again, there's a lot of activities going on. Now our winters. Our winters are as active as summer. And yes, it is cold. And yes, it is colder than your fridge, colder than your freezer. But guess what? We have fun. We have a lot of events going on. We are outdoorsy. We like doing a lot of sports. And I know that in Bhutan, it goes down to -10. For us, it does go down to -20, -25. And then sometimes we have to, well, not sometimes, we always have to factor the wind factor. And that drops the temperature a little bit more. But don't be scared. This is not our whole winter. It's not at -30 every single day. Temperature does fluctuate. But we have excellent heating system here. So indoors, everywhere you go, you will always be at 21 degrees. Okay, so that's the good thing about our winters here as well. Okay, so now that we know a little bit about the city, now let's go ahead and take a look at Montreal. So our campus actually has, our university has two distinct campuses. So the first one is located in our downtown location. And this is where the bulk of the student population is located. So we have about 38,000 students in our downtown location. So as you can see in this picture, you see a really nice blend of greenery and beautiful architecture. So in here, in the back, if you see there's a mountain, obviously not as beautiful mountains as you have over there. This is more like a hill, but we call it a mountain. So this hill is called Mount Royal. And so this is a picture, an aerial shot from this Mount Royal of the city. So as you can see, everything within the red area is the university itself. And as you can see, if you cross that those red lines, you will find the downtown location. So again, we are only a step away from our downtown location. Now our second location, our second campus is located only 36 kilometers to the west of the island, and it is called the McDonald campus. So at McDonald campus, we have a smaller environment. We have about 2,000 students in that campus. We have obviously smaller classes. It's still research intensive. We have a lot of hands-on activities, labs, and of course, in this campus, we have 3 different faculties, and I'll talk about them in my next few slides. And this one here is an aerial shot of the McDonald campus. So as you can see, it's also located next to the river, and it's a little bit more spread out because obviously there's more space there, but it's a very, very beautiful area as well. One thing that I would like to recommend that you do is take our virtual campus. So go ahead and take out your cell phones, scan or take a picture of this slide so you can have access to this campus, because I believe that it's very important for you guys to be able to get a sense of what the university is about, not only ours, but any university that you would want to apply for, okay? So I'm hoping that with that QR code, you can actually come in and virtually visit us for now. Another aspect that I want to point out is residence. So every student coming to McGill is guaranteed residence for their first year. So what we do here at McGill is that we want to make sure that students have a wonderful first year where they can meet students meet peers, start making those very important connections. And then as of the second year on, that they can actually move out with their friends into an apartment outside campus, so they can also live, sorry, so they can also live and know a little bit more about the culture here in Montreal. So I would recommend that you scan this QR code as well, and I've placed it here as well. So you can take a look at the types of residence where you would thrive as a student. We really have different types of residences. We have the traditional housing style, the one that you see on TV all the time. We have a more modern type, and we also have independent living. So again, if I were you, I would take my time to go ahead and look into all of the options, and then once again identify the option that best suits you, the environment where you will be able to succeed. Now, even though we have 40,000 students in our university, we want to make sure, and we have been doing this for a long time, to make sure that students feel at home, to make sure that students build those very strong connections. And for this, we have over 300 different student clubs where you can find people who have your same interests. So for instance, if you like manga, if you like chess, if you like improv, whatever that may be, we have a club for it. So again, these are ways that you can start making friends and learning about the different cultures, not only here in Montreal, but your peers. We also have a lot of community outreach and volunteering opportunities for you. So you can, again, start making sure that you learn more about our community here. We have a lot of different networking and leadership activities where you can, of course, show us your leadership skills. And of course, we have a lot of sports. So this QR code will take you to the Mcgill Athletics. So if you're interested in soccer, alpine skiing, swimming, anything that you have in mind in terms of sports, we have it here. So again, very important that you keep this in mind, because again, for us, it is really a balance of being able to be a good student, but also being able to enjoy the community and obviously our city as well. Another very important aspect that we have here at Mcgill is the opportunity that we give students to start learning and putting in practice what they're learning. So what we have is basically four different aspects where you can develop those skills. So first one, we have research, field studies, internships, and lastly, study abroad. So as I was mentioning, we have a lot of research opportunities, and literally all you have to do, this was a question that a person asked me just last night in another webinar I was in. It's like, how can I get engaged in any sort of research? Well, the answer is, if you're interested in a research, just go ahead and talk to your professor, and that is it. And there you go, you start your researching career. So it's very, very, very easy. Even if we have 40,000 students, you can still do it. We have field studies, meaning that you could go to one of our locations around the world where you could have the hands-on activities in certain locations. We have the Bahamas, we have Antarctica, we have all different places where we have permanent research centers. And then the other part also has to do with internships. So every faculty has an internship office, and here we will be able to help you with your CV. We will help you with interviewing skills, and also for you to know, our internships are paid internships, meaning that because you would be working, obviously, by means of an internship, you would be paid accordingly. And then lastly, we have study abroad, which means that you would be able to go to any other country. We have partnerships with hundreds of universities throughout the world. So if there is a country that interests you, then you can absolutely go and study there. And you would only have to pay Mcgill fees, which is wonderful. You don't have to worry about the local fees, and that's also a lifesaver. Okay. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the admissions process. So have your cell phones ready, because here comes another very important QR code. So as I was saying, we have two distinct campuses. So if you're interested in agricultural, environmental sciences, human nutrition, or bioresources engineering, I know that some of you are engineering, want engineering. If it is bioresources, then you would be located in our McDonald campus. If you're interested in arts, education, engineering, management, music, nursing, or science, then you would be located in our downtown location. Okay. Now, another aspect that I want to bring to your attention is that at Mcgill University, we have certain topics that are offered through different faculties. So for instance, I do know that we have computer science people in the audience. So take a look and scan this QR code, and this will take you to a page where you can actually type in your academic interest, and it will tell you how we see it. So for instance, for computer science, if you type in computer science, you'll see that it could be offered through the Faculty of Arts, or it could be offered through the Faculty of Science. So when you click on them, you'll be able to see what it is that you can do with this degree, how do we see that content. So again, very important that you take your time to take a look at what your academic interests are. And it's a wonderful tool because you'll also maybe learn something that you hadn't thought about, especially for those of you who are undecided. Again, perfectly normal. Just go in there, type any academic interest that you may have, and you'll be able to see the long list of options that are available to you. Now let's take a look at how to apply. So if you're interested in the Faculty of Arts, Management, or Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, when you apply, you actually apply directly to the faculty itself. So this means that you do not have to apply, that you don't have to declare a major right away. This you will only do at the end of your first year. So especially for those of you who are undecided, for instance, in the liberal arts, anything that has to do with economics, international relationships, entrepreneurship, I think I saw someone there. So this is a very broad program. So again, at the end of your first year, you would be able to declare your majors. You can double major, you can do 2 minors. So it really depends upon what you want to do, especially in the Faculty of Arts. It's very, very flexible. Now, if you're interested in science, I do remember seeing someone in neuroscience. So when you apply, you actually don't apply directly to the Faculty of Science. You actually apply to one of the 3 groups, okay? So for you're someone in the audience is interested in neuroscience, so you would have to apply to the biological, biomedical, and life sciences group, okay? And those of you who are interested in computer science through the Faculty of Science, then you would be able to apply to the biophysical computational sciences group, okay? We may have someone in the audience who's interested in the physical, earth, math, and computer science group. So then this is where you would apply. Now, at the end of the first year, then you would be able to declare also your majors or minors. If you are torn between the Bachelor of Arts and Sciences, meaning that you have equal amount of interest of each, then you would want to apply to this one. And this one is housed in the Faculty of Science. So you would have to apply to this program through the Faculty of Science. Now, if you're interested in education, engineering, music, and nursing, then you do have to apply to a major. So I know that engineering is one of the interests and people here in my audience today. So you would have to declare exactly which type of engineering you would be interested in. Okay. So just as a word of just a reminder, we do not have direct entry to medicine, dentistry, or law, because this is a very common question that I get in my presentations. So let's go ahead and take a look at the application and understanding how this works. So you can also go ahead and scan this QR code. And important dates. If you are an international student, you have until January 15th to apply. If you hold a Canadian citizenship, then you would have until February 1st. We are now open actually for application. We actually started, we opened our online portal a few days ago, actually 19 days ago. We started on October 1st. When you apply, you could apply to 2 different programs. So you could apply, again, directly to the Faculty of Arts, Management, or Agricultural and Environmental Sciences, and maybe one of the groups in science, because I do know that in our audience, I had a few students who are interested in sciences. So when you do your application, you will be able to opt in for residence, meaning that you would be guaranteed where you would live for your first year. It is not mandatory, but it is strongly recommended because it really is an extension of our university. So it really would make a great difference if you are there, because again, you would be able to start making those very strong relationships that you want to do. And then you would have to pay the application fee. So when you go online and you start your application, you will receive within 24 to 48 hours a Mcgill ID and a password. So you can log into our student portal called Minerva. And once you have access to Minerva, you will be able to monitor your application, okay? Now, you may need supporting documents, and those would have to be submitted by, again, if you're an international student, March 15th, and if you are a Canadian student, May 4th. Now, we do need a proof of English proficiency, and this I'll talk to you guys later. So this, we would need that by the state. And just for you guys to know, we do not look into legacy. We don't look into reference letters. You won't be asked to come in or do a virtual interview. We won't look into your extracurriculars either. We really only want to know your grades and all of that hard work that you've been putting into your grades. We want to make sure that we honor all of that time and effort. And as everything in life, there's an exception to the rule. So if you're interested in architecture, education, music, nursing, religious studies, or social work, you do have to submit additional documentation. Other than that, it really has to do with just grades. I didn't see anyone who is interested in any of these, but just for the sake of the recording, if anyone is interested in the programs that I've just shared with you, you do need to go online and take a look at the additional documentation. So for instance, architecture, we do require a portfolio. So these are just like that. If you're interested in nursing, you do need proof of French because you will be working here in your internships. And for that, you do need French. Okay, again, this only applies for nursing. Now let's talk about another very important topic, scholarships. Very important to also discuss this. So go ahead and scan this QR code. We do have merit-based scholarships, meaning that when you apply, if you have very good grades, we would actually consider making an offer. So we would provide you with a merit-based scholarship. Now, if you're not offered one, you can still apply, even if you are international, if you are an international student, and you can request, apply for a scholarship. And this you would have to do every year. And again, it is open for international students as well. Now, if money is a barrier in your education, we also offer need-based financial aid. So you do have to demonstrate, of course, financial assistance, financial need. And then once you have accepted our offer, then you would be able to have 30 days by which you would have to go online and actually request it on the portal that I've talked about called Minerva. Okay. I also want to mention that when you apply to those 2 programs, unlike other universities, you don't have to rank them. For us, they're totally independent, meaning that you could very well be accepted to both. And then at that point, you would have until May 1st to confirm or decline either one. So again, no ranking, nothing like that. You will hear back from both. And you won't probably even hear from both at the same time. It could be at different times. Okay, so let's pretend that you've already submitted your application. So let's take a look at what we will evaluate when you do. So we're only going to take a look at 3 things. That's it. The first one, we're going to look into your academic background. So we're looking into the diploma, the high school diploma that you will obtain. So that's the first one. And then we will take a look at the programs you want to partake when you come to our university. And so we will take a look at the prerequisites. Some faculties have some prerequisites, some others don't. And then again, we would go into those prerequisites, and then that's it. That's regarding grades. And lastly, we want to make sure that when you come to McGill, you feel at home, that you feel that you have access to all the information. Sorry, that was a truck going right next to my street. So we want to make sure that you feel at home and that you can, understand everything that is going on. So if obviously you come from a country where English is not the official language, then you do need to meet the English proficiency requirement. Okay. So let's take a look at an example. So we will take a look at your national high school diploma, and we will review all of your grades, and we will take a look at the results that you would be getting for your prerequisites that are required for the faculties that you would be applying for. For scholarship consideration, we are looking at a minimum of A average, and that you are ranked high up 1 to 2% of your class. And then again, your supporting documents, we would ask you to please upload your unofficial transcripts, but don't worry, like there's no need to memorize all of this. When you apply, you will be provided a checklist, and it would help you in that process so you know exactly what we need. Okay, so again, you would be able to provide us with that information. So let's go ahead and go into this website, which is very important. It's mcgill.ca undergraduate admissions. So I've placed the QR code here. So once you go on this page, you want to click to where it says apply. And then it will take you to the 7 steps of the easy steps that we've put together for you. So I've talked a little bit about the first one and the second one. And now let's go ahead and take a look if you're eligible. So you want to go to the third one, and you click on the third one, which says make sure you're eligible. And once you're in that page, you will be able to click on the one that applies to you. So in your case, it would be high school outside Canada and the US. So you would click there, and then that way it'll take you to this website. And on this website, basically, it'll tell you what the prerequisites are for the program. So you would have to go in and click on the one that pertains to you. And then you would have to see what the prerequisites are. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few examples. So arts. So for those of you who are undecided, or students who are interested in like liberal arts, as you can see, we don't have specific prerequisites for the Faculty of Arts with a national diploma. So for those of you who mentioned management, some of you said something about entrepreneurship. So management, you could apply to the Faculty of Management, but we do need a prerequisite of math, and it has to be a minimum of pre-calculus at the senior high school level. And if you're interested in science, for instance, I do know that we have a student interested in neuroscience, then of course you would need to have, again, math, but you would need normally 2 of biology, chemistry, or physics at the senior year. So this is why I want to make sure that I draw your attention to the prerequisites that are needed. Now, I'm happy that some of you want engineering. So this is a perfect example. So we have different types of engineering, as I'm sure you've looked into. So we have bioengineering, chemical engineering, civil, electrical, mechanical, materials, and mining. So for these, you actually need, again, pre-calculus, and you actually need chemistry and physics at the senior high school level. So again, very important that when you consider these faculties, that you really do look into the prerequisites, okay? And I've just put this here for the English requirement, so you can go ahead and scan the QR code, and you'll be able to see what the different options are. Okay, so now we have come to the Q&A. So Melissa, I will hand it over to you, and I'll take a look at my private messaging to see if there's anything for me.
Yeah, thank you so much. So much helpful information. I think the QR codes are also really great. One of the main things that came up, and we can just answer this first, I think, would just be some clarification on the TOEFL. So do you accept TOEFL, IBT, Duolingo? There's another exam called the Bhutan Council for School Examinations and Assessment, English Proficiency, IELTS exams. Those are the main 4 questions around English proficiency. So I think that's
Perfect.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
So I've included it here so you
Thank
can
you.
have access to the QR codes. And yes, we
Mhm.
do take Duolingo, which is
Okay.
wonderful. This is something, because with COVID, we tend to think that COVID was very bad. Of course it's bad, but we also have to
Yep.
think of the good things that came out of COVID. So one of the
Yep.
good things is actually Duolingo. So it makes
Yep.
it super easy for everyone.
Yep.
So yes, we definitely
Great.
take Duolingo, IELTS, of course. All these results would have to be submitted when available directly by the college
Okay.
to Mcgill University. And there was also questions regarding SATs and ACTs.
Mhm.
So another good thing that came out of COVID was that we are test optional, meaning that you don't have to have SATs or ACTs when you apply. We will definitely be looking at your academics. So with or without ACTs, SATs, doesn't make a difference at all. We just won't consider them because they're not available. And we will make the offers considering your application just based upon your grades and your overall high school performance. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And I think long term, I would assume, for students in Bhutan that aren't necessarily close to or have access to SAT or ACT anyway, even without COVID or IELTS, and sitting these tests in person, I think knowing that you would be able to work with students on an individual level and just help them through what, for example, I don't know, Patricia, I've never heard of the one, I think it's Srijana, I don't know if I think it's Bhutanese specific for the BCSE. So again, maybe there is like a translation that can be done because a student does have access to that. But either way, I think this shows that you're very open to receiving any number of, proof of English proficiency. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the questions was, is there a minimum IB or kind of a minimum IB score that Mcgill is looking at? And it might be faculty specific.
Exactly. So it is faculty specific. We also have them online. And you will be able to see. Now, we will look into your overall academics. The good thing about IB, and this does not put the student in a position of advantage or disadvantage in the admissions process. What does happen is that once a student has been made an offer and the student confirms that they do want to come to McGill, then at that point, we would grant student advanced standing, meaning that the student would be able to take credits. So we could actually grant you up to 30 credits, meaning that you could actually pretty much skip your first of 4 years as undergraduate student. So that's the good thing about IBs, the good thing about French back, if there is anyone taking French back, if there is anyone taking AP courses, the same is true. Obviously, they have to have good grades in order for us to be able to consider them. Why? This is a very common question I get. It's just because these are academically rigorous content. Okay, so these are pretty much university level courses. So that's why we would honor them. But again, just to make sure that I'm super, super clear, it doesn't mean that because you have an IB that you look in our eyes as a better candidate. Absolutely not. We really take a look at the whole academics, and we have students who have just come to us without IBs, without APs, nothing at all. So we are looking at academically strong students, regardless of IB or not. So again, the good thing is that you would be given credit. So that's one positive.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think having the possibility of almost an entire or up to an entire year of university level credit for an IB diploma is really amazing. That's great news.
And the reason is because, like, sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's okay.
For 4 years, which is normally an undergraduate degree, Our first year, which we call U0, is the first year where we have obviously students from different parts of the world, and we want to make sure that we give them the basics, the foundational content that they need in order to continue with their schools. So when students have IBs and all of these other different courses, they come to us with that foundation. So that's why they could continue in their second year. Now, this is the norm, but again, there are certain programs where you couldn't just like skip the whole year. So for instance, if you go into engineering, you could probably skip like say half a year, because engineering has more credits than other programs. So again, the good thing is that we would grant a lot of credits.
Yeah, that's still good news overall. I don't think, this is a great question. Last time I checked, Mcgill does not have an application essays, correct?
Exactly.
Yay.
So we don't have, so the good thing also is that applying to Mcgill takes, I mean, like 10 minutes. And basically what we need to do is just give us like your basic information, name, kid you not, name, address, very basic information, what country you're applying for. And citizenship is not a factor that we consider, by the way. It's not because we take more Canadians just because they're Canadians. Absolutely not. Or because from Bhutan or from China or South America. Not at all. For us, citizenship is important just so we know what academic background we have to take a look into. That's it. So we know what program we have to look into. And then once the student is accepted, if any of the people here in our audience is Canadian, then at that point fees would be adjusted. But that's the only reason. Yeah. So nope, only grades.
Okay, thank you. There was a question about one, and I think I know the answer to this just because I think it's more of a US based kind of concept, but does Mcgill meet 100% of demonstrated financial need, any type of need-based aid?
There's a range, yes. There is a range. It could go up to that, but it is a range. So it's not only 100%. It could cover anywhere within the range.
Okay, good. Thanks for that. Another question, I don't know if you know the answer, or we might have to outsource or figure this out, but to pursue a major in music and apply for scholarships, is academic marks important? So academic achievement to show for acceptance for a major in music,
yes,
or for scholarships.
So okay, so that's like a two-part question. So if you're applying to the Faculty of Arts and you want to make a minor, for instance, in music, you would have a Bachelor of Arts, and yes, you could still look for scholarships for sure. And the other one would be, and you don't need prerequisites for that. Okay. Whereas if you go into the Faculty of Music, that's a totally different concept. For that, you do need very good grades, but you also need additional documentation in the sense that if it's an instrument, you need to prove that you're good at that instrument. So depending on what you want to do within the Faculty of Music. And also scholarships. Yes, so scholarships are really very much offered to those students who have a very, very good grade. So again, applying to the Faculty of Arts is totally different than music, because of the prerequisites and additional information. So just to clarify, arts, no prerequisites for Bhutan students, and that's only grades. For music, you do need your good grades, and you also need additional information to be able to apply. Regardless, scholarships are available to both.
Okay, great. And I don't know for IB, for computer science major, for IB, is standard level maths accepted, or does it have to be higher level?
Higher level. Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. I know that's sometimes an issue with some universities and needing the higher level maths. I had a question actually about, and I don't know if we need to get too far into this, but gaining a visa to study, is that supported through Mcgill? And then thinking about working in the country after graduation?
That's a very good question. I'm just going to go back to the IB. I'm going to send you the link so you can take a look at the link regarding IB, so you can know what other courses could be honored as well. So very important. And moving forward to your question, we do not help students in that process. What we do is that once the student is accepted, we will provide a letter stating that the student has been accepted to McGill. And with that letter, then the student can go ahead and apply to get their student visa. Now, having said that, I can say that at our university, we have within student services an office, which is absolutely wonderful. It's called the International Student Services Office, and they're absolutely amazing. They're there to help international students. They have all sorts of different webinars with information, and they will provide and guide students, but we really don't start with them and do everything. They're there to support them in the process. So we don't go into their files and start them ourselves. No, they have to go do part of it, but they are supported by our ISS office.
Great. That's wonderful to know that you have a team of people to help students with all of these questions through that part of the process.
And part of your question, I almost forgot. Can you work after graduating? Yes. As a matter of fact, in the next few days, there is a webinar coming out for students who are about to graduate and what they have to do in order to be able to work in Canada after they've graduated. So ISS, International Student Services Office, offers these types of webinars, and hopefully they'll be live too. But again, they're there to support students all the way until after graduation, pretty much, by providing them the information they need.
All right. So that was rapid fire through the questions. I don't think we have anyone. Okay, so anyone, if we forgot you, I think I've gone back and forth through this. I think we've answered everything in the chat. If not, please feel free to unmute yourself. We also definitely want to switch to gallery view to get a photo of ourselves, if that's okay. For anybody who wants to, you can turn your camera on. And
I have
please,
sorry, I have a private message. I just want to make sure that I address it. Any opportunity for pursuing a master's in a university? I have a Bachelor of Science in Nursing and a midwifery. Okay. Yes, we have master degree program, absolutely. And what we can do is I will give you, well, I'll give Melissa all the information regarding application to master degree programs. So you can all of you have access to that, because some of you, as this person is asking me, is already thinking about it, but maybe those of you who are interested in undergraduate programs are also maybe thinking of graduate programs. So that would be important for all of you guys to have the same information.
Great.
Thank you for your question.
Yeah, we'll definitely get that information and post it with the recording to our hub, our online hub. So thank you for that. Okay,
perfect. So I'm going to then stop sharing so we can take the, oh, and actually one more thing before we go. So make sure that you are connected. Please make sure that you scan this QR code. You can join our mailing list. We are very active on social media. So again, so you can see what we're doing, and you can also meet students, which is wonderful, our student ambassadors. So they can totally make an appointment and just meet with anyone in that faculty, so you can get firsthand information of like the student perspective of McGill University. And
I am sorry, I thought of one other question, and please, I hope you didn't say this, but you might have. Can a student work on campus?
Yes. They can.
Okay.
There is a maximum amount of hours that students can work for. Right now, as of October 19th, 9:50 a.m. in Montreal, it is 20 hours that students can work per week. This could change, but it has been pretty steady for the last few years. But again, the most updated information regarding international, like these are the type of questions that ISS would know. But yes, absolutely, students can work on campus.
The reason I say that, the reason I say that, students, is because it's super, super important to know different countries around the world. When you when you see a university, like the cost of attendance at Mcgill University, and then you remember what Patricia said about scholarships, the different range of scholarships available, and up to 10,000 or whatever it is, scholarships available and funding available. It's really important to know that if you can work on campus and you can work maybe locally in the area around your campus, say like a coffee shop or something like this, that makes a huge difference in your ability to make up that cost of attendance. I know a lot of people, that's what I did when I went to university. I worked on campus and I worked in a coffee shop. And so that's how I paid for the rest of my education, that my scholarship didn't cover in the US in particular. So I think it's super, super good to know that students have that opportunity.
Yes, and they can engage, like I said, in research. And research, they can become RA, a research assistant, and those are also paid. So again, there's a maximum, but it's always good. And we also have a lot of resources on campus. So for instance, we have on Tuesday, well, prior to COVID, on Tuesdays, we had a group of students who would cook and they would give out food for free.
Wow.
Just like that. And they would just come in, they would get, whatever it was. Most of it is vegetarian, just because it's just easier to make. And then people would have to bring back their container to recycle, because we're very cognizant of recycling. We don't have any bottled water, plastic bottles at all. It's all, I go around with my bottle of water to refill. So yes, there are a lot of ways also to support that process.
If you could taste some Bhutanese food, I think students could successfully set up a Bhutanese food truck and make some serious money. So
yes,
so
yes, and it's also very affordable because we have very good ingredients. So I can only imagine. Oh, we need that. I should have looked up if we have something like that here, but if not, well, we need representatives from Bhutan in our university to push that forward.
I love that. All right, if we could do, yeah, that's perfect. Thank you so much. Anybody who is welcome, but you do not have to take yourself off camera. But if you want to just, I guess it might just be the three of us.
No, we have more students. If they could please turn on their cameras, that would be wonderful. So we can have a picture. Thank you. Yes.
Yay.
We're all kind here. We're all very nice.
All right. Shoshana, did you grab it?
Please, the others, don't be shy. We're all nice and friendly here. There we go. Sonam, thank you. Dishan, thank you. I think we've proven that we are nice. There we go.
Yay.
Excellent.
Everybody turns on their camera.
They might listen to you, Shoshana. Thank you guys.
Probably getting a little touch up.
Yeah,
exactly. Getting the hair nice for the picture. Very good.
Yay. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. So nice to see your faces.
Waiting for Namita, Bhumika. We have Ishi.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I'm sorry for putting you in the spot, but
she's not letting it go. She's not going to let you go. No. It's okay. Good. I think we're good for a photo. Yeah.
If more could join, that'd be wonderful. But or do you want us to maybe stop recording? Maybe that's what people don't like. We could totally stop recording and just have the picture if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, we could do that. Shall I stop the recording then?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Because I understand that sometimes